Hi and welcome to my channel. So today we have one more very interesting problem on SAS. So basically in this problem we have a dataset, and this dataset basically contains one variable which is team name, and in this team we have some cricket teams names, for example CSK, KKR, GT, DC, LSG. And basically from this input dataset what we have to find out is we have to find out all the possible combinations, or all the possible combination of the matches that two teams can play. For example, let me explain you this. For example, currently we have this team name variable, and this team CSK can play matches with these four teams, right? So what we want is, in our output we want CSK versus KKR, and we want again CSK versus GT, and CSK versus DC, and CSK versus LSG, right? So this CSK can play matches with these like four more teams. So there are the four combinations of this CSK with other teams. Similarly, if we will talk about this KKR, so KKR can play match with CSK because this is already covered. CSK is playing match with KKR, or KKR is playing match with CSK. So this is same. So that is why in the next iteration we will not consider this KKR with CSK. So basically KKR can play matches with these three more teams. So we will have output like KKR versus GT, then KKR versus DC, and KKR versus LSG. Similarly, I am writing all the other teams names also. For example, GT versus DC, and GT versus LSG, and DC versus LSG, right? So these are the total number of combinations, and we cannot have any other combinations or any other team names which can play matches. So there are total of, I think, 10 teams. So from this input dataset basically we want to create this output dataset. So this is our problem. So let's see how we can do this in SAS. So we have this teams dataset, and let's also print this dataset using proc print. So basically we have this team underscore name variable, and we have this teams dataset available now. So let's see how we can do this. So initially what I am trying to do is I am creating one more dataset called BS versus, and I am setting I am setting this dataset which is teams, and I'm doing two more things. I'm creating one knobs. Basically it will capture the total number of observations in this dataset. So currently we have 1 2 3 4 5, so this n will become 5. And also I am doing one more thing. I am creating end equal to EOF. So this particular end EOF variable will capture the value of end of file. So these two things I'm doing. Also I'm doing one more thing. I'm creating one array, and let's take this array name as teams, and initialize any number. This number should always be greater than these number of row codes that we have. So I am taking this maximum number of range. So I am creating array teams of 100, and I am creating this as character type, and also I am creating this temporary variables. Basically temporary variables, why we are creating temporary variables is there are some of the instances. For example, there are basically 5 rows right now. So I am trying to hold these values into some macro variable. So currently we have 5. So if we will assign these 5 variables to this array, so 95 out of 105 will only capture these values. Otherwise 95 will be empty, like there will be no use of those 95 variables. So that is why I am creating this empty or temporary variables. So once the code get executed, it will directly removed from the SAS memory itself. So this is why I am creating this temporary variable. And also what we can do is, now I am doing teams of underscore and underscore, equal to team names. So basically what this will do is, so one by one, for example, if this is the first row, so it will pick this value and assign to team 1. I mean, let me also write this just to explain this. I'll write this down here. So basically we have like teams 100, from 1 to 100 there are 100 variables. So what it will do is, teams of 1, this code will assign, this particular code will assign team of 1 to CSK. Similarly it will assign team of 2 to KKR, and similarly team of 3 to GT, team of 4 to DC, and similarly team of 5 to LSG. So basically we are just setting, setting or initializing these team 1 2 3 4 5 from this data set, and initializing them, these values. So I hope this is clear. So now when we will run this particular code, it will hold the value, team 1 will hold the value of CSK, team 2 will hold the value of KKR, team 3 will hold the value of GT, team 4 will hold the value of DC, and similarly team 5 will hold the value of LSG. So what I am doing now is basically, uh, if end of file, at the end of execution, what I am trying to do is, if end of file then do. So at the end of the execution of this dataset lines, so on the fifth number I can say, because this is the end. So on the fifth number, what I am trying to do is, I am creating one loop, do I is equal to 1 to n, and n is nothing but it is the total number of observations that are there in this data set. And also I am running one more loop, which will be from do j is equal to I plus 1 to n. Okay, and why I am running these two loop is because, let me also explain you. So basically initially the I value will be 1, here I value will be 1. So basically I am trying to combine this CSK with this KKR, then CSK with this GT, then CSK with this DC, and similarly this CSK with this LSG. So basically that is why I am running this code from I is equal to 1 to n. I mean I will run from 1 to n, that means and the j will run from I plus 1. For example, if the I value is 1, j value can be from 2 to 5. If the I value is 2, j value can be from 3 to 5. Similarly, if the I value is 3, j value can be from 4 to 5. And if the I value is 4, j value can be from 5 only. There will be no any other values. So what I am trying to do is, so basically let me also write down and explain you this also. So for example, I value is equal to 1, then j value can be from 1, and also 2, 3, 4, and j value can be 5. So what I am trying to do is, because team of I is CSK, so this will be CSK, and team of, and okay, this will run from 2 to 5. So because we have n plus 1, and j2 will be KKR, and j3 will be GT, j4 will be DC, okay, and j5 will be LSG. So what I am trying to do is, I am basically combining this CSK with this KKR, this CSK with this GT, this CSK with this DC, and the same CSK with this LSG. And the next loop will run from I is equal to 2 to 2, and j will run from 3 to 5. Okay, that means GT to LSG. And similarly what I will do is, because this team 2 is KKR, so I will combine KKR with GT, KKR with DC, KKR with LSG. So like this I will be like I am running my loop, and I'll keep combining these values together. So let's see how we can do this inside this loop. So programmatically we can write one condition, which is var of cat of x, and we have to combine this by using versus, because we are also considering versus, because this match is happening between two teams. So we are doing is, what we are doing is, teams of I comma teams of j. Okay, and also we are doing output. So okay, and we will end this entire code by using run. So let me run this code and show you. Okay, so you can see in the where we have CSK versus KKR, CSK versus GT, CSK versus DC, and CSK versus LSG, and the same output we are getting here, if you can see. And in the next rows we have KKR versus GT, KKR versus DC, and KKR versus LSG. So let's see our output. So KKR versus GT, KKR versus DC, and KKR versus LSG. So this is how we can solve this problem. And then because we only want the matches, so we can keep that in our row and we can delete other rows also. So we are keeping only where, or instead of where, maybe we can call this as matches, and let's keep this matches, and also let's do a proc print on this VS dataset. So this time we are doing proc print VS, and let's run this. So now you can see we have the matches and we have all the matches that can be possible between two teams. So this is how we can solve this problem, and going forward I'll be solving more problems on my channel. So if you like this video, please subscribe my channel. Thank you.